Ho, ho, ho! Welcome to the Bald and Beardiful. I'm Chris.
And I'm Bryce.
I'm bald.
And I'm Beardiful. And I know we didn't quite do an in-between episode for this one, but we'll make it up. For now, we're just going to keep going with the regular pick episode, and we will double up on our next Chaser episode, getting nice and turned. So,
Turned? Who are you? Turned.
Unfortunately,
You're gonna
related to
bring
you.
back Hella too?
I know people that still say hello. It wouldn't be me bringing it back, that's for sure.
Next thing you know, you're gonna be talking about spilling the tea in our next Chaser episode.
Is that an old man reference? What are you talking about?
No, it's an old new thing.
An
Apparently,
old new thing.
so it's an old term from like the Victorian era about gossiping. It's basically a way of saying gossiping, right? That is now being brought back into the current vernacular.
Sure. Anyway, so as a quick recap to our previous pick episode, we were talking about a bet, and we're gonna have to go over that as well. So as a quick reminder, Chris and I decided to give ourselves a challenge, which would be whoever has the most points of the combined next 2 weeks, including this past week, gets to choose the final week, and the opponent has to take the opposition. So we'll have completely opposite score for the final week. And you know what we didn't do that we could probably go back and do is we could actually go back and let's see who won most weeks, because I know there was a good stretch where we did go back and forth, but I think you might have taken most of them.
Yeah, we can figure it out because if you go on the desktop,
Yeah.
the desktop app, it's easier to see. We could just grab each week.
Yeah, just see who won each week,
and then we can compare overall weeks. Yeah, I think it went back and forth pretty good. I had a pretty good downhill slide for a minute, so.
And back on the Chaser episodes, I know I lost a bet, and we had to, and I will pay up just on the Chaser episode. I've already taken the picture. I had a good time with it. It actually makes for a really good story. I hope I get to do it again. Actually, I might dress up my beard again for the holidays when I come visit you.
All right. That sounds good. So we ready to get into this week?
Yeah, because you just sounded very excited. So let's feels like you dozed off on me in your old age, and then came back and we was like, football, yes, football. So overall, not too bad. Not too bad. You did terrible. Ending my week with a positive 17.5 points, which in all honesty is a good week for me. It's unfortunately that's a good week. I think I ended up. I don't even know what I ended up in. Do you know what you ended up in, like as an overall for this week?
50 something. No, I thought I would ended in the 50s. Maybe not. 70 something.
I'm not sure myself. I have to look it up in a second. But I mean, still not too bad.
No,
definitely could have been worse. I could have made your picks.
There were whatever. Honestly, like I didn't do any worse than you did, except for the Monday night game. That was a complete blowout for me because I was minus a point going into the Monday night game. So
I was. You were not 50th. You are much lower than 50th.
Am I?
Oh yeah, because I was 40th. Around 50th, because seeing how you have negative 19 points, 50th place had positive 11.5.
Okay. So there was a swing. I mean,
you're back down to the 96% but you're in 96 this week.
Really?
Tied even.
Whatever.
Go ahead.
I mean, but that doesn't it doesn't take a whole lot to beat me. 1 point is ahead of me. So, but there weren't a whole lot of high scoring teams this week. Anyway, you basically got one like so your
Tampa Bay knew they were gonna do well.
well, yeah, you had 2 games which went negative that washed out your New York and Seattle pick.
Dude,
That's 13
Jets could have been
points.
so much worse. Oh my god, that could have been so much worse.
Yeah, and this is saying like so you're lucky like that Baltimore let them score in garbage time because had they
Yeah,
not
no,
let them
they were
score,
ahead like 30 something to 0, and I was so unhappy.
yeah. So you're right in my boat. Like it had those garbage time TDs not been made, right?
Right.
Um, this is not overall horrible picks. Like yeah, most of my picks were pretty well like and close. The Denver pick, like I said, like um that turned into something else. Well, I think actually I miscalculated on both the Denver and the Indy picks. So like KC actually did end up needing the win, and I thought that they didn't. That's why I took that pick with the spread that it was. But it turned out they actually still needed the win. Otherwise, had I actually paid attention to that and figured it out correctly, I would not have made that pick. And then exactly what I said it on the recording too. I said it on the last show that if San Francisco loses, that gives New Orleans a reason to win because then they have the capacity to take the number 1 seed, and of course that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have gone in and just switched my pick. I just didn't. Right? Like I mean, and then I have a swing, and then I'm ahead of you at that
But luckily for me, the cards didn't fall that way. Yeah. Overall, I was not lucky enough to watch a lot of these games. All so at least for my weekends, Saturday I went down to Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, Virginia, and then so Sunday I just was driving for 5 hours. I was with the family until about 2, and then drove all the way back up and had no time to listen or watch the game. So I don't have a lot of input except for like the periodic like times I could look at how they're doing. And like I saw like bits and pieces of the score for the Miami Giants game, and there was a time where Miami was above, and I'm just going, "Oh my God, New York's gonna screw me again." I had such high hopes from them, and luckily they pulled it out in the end.
point.
No, yeah,
Nothing
you and I.
really, nothing really else exciting happened this week
Uh,
out of our picks anyway.
no, there's a lot of disappointment. I was, for more than one reason, was hoping Indianapolis would, score more than one touchdown in like the fourth quarter.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. They're definitely a better team. Like I mean, I'm not saying I didn't expect them to lose, but like they could have kept it close, you know.
Right?
But
Yeah.
apparently they decided to just I don't know. I don't know. I didn't end up watching it. I forgot what I ended up doing. I ended up doing other things that day. Uh, but I had oh man,
So exciting.
the last weekend. I mean, the most exciting part of the weekend was that I went to two holiday parties: a work holiday party, a friend's holiday party, and so basically I was drinking for 3 days straight. I haven't done that in a while. Lots of holiday
So,
cheer.
no, sounds like my week. I really, honestly, my only disappointment was this weekend is that I did not have a plastic flask to take around Busch Gardens. That would have made dealing with the family so much better.
Oh, because you went and saw your family. That's right.
Yeah, well, it's not like I
Well,
went to go see your family or someone else's. Like, what did you think? Like, what
fair
was?
enough. Well, because I was thinking you were hanging out with Matt and Kate.
Well, I did. I went down to see them on Friday. They let us stay at their place, then drove the final leg to Busch Gardens. Got the hotel, but and spent the rest of the weekend with the mom, the other siblings, and my other friends that I took down from the Delaware area here. I give them a shout out. They don't listen to this podcast either.
They should. We
They
need
should.
listeners.
No, no, they don't care. I told them about it, and they hear me talk enough. They don't want to listen to this. Although I will give a shout out to Eric and our Eric, Andy, and Jillian, who are Eric and Andy play in our fantasy football league, because they listen on a weekly basis. They keep up with it.
They definitely need to share it out or create some fake accounts to
To
hit the
make
like
us
buttons
look a
for us
little better.
to get a little more traffic, help boost the algorithm, if you will.
Or we're just gonna get funnier and see what happens.
Are you taking improv lessons? Is that what you're trying to allude to?
I honestly kind of wish the closest improv place to me, I think, is an hour away.
Maybe
I
get you some lessons, or you could get on take a master class online.
An online improv, that'd be interesting.
uh,
All right, let's move past this week, and hopefully I can like, even though that is a big spread for the two of us, and I all I have to do is not mess up to get this advantage going into week 17, and in a way, I think you do want me to win just so I can pick it and then go negative, and you go positive.
I mean, like I said, I completely feel like that if you make picks to try and screw me over, it's somehow going to end up positive in my favor. So I'm not
You're
worried
also
about it.
assuming I'm going to play that tactic instead of just playing the games that I think would benefit me. But then again, like again, it could, as our scores are show in the previous week, like easily have a like 17 to negative 17, or it could end up like yours and be negative 19. 19, like you just, it could go either way with the way some of these games go. But wouldn't it be amazing if that's the week I got first place?
It would be amazing. Miracles do happen. It is Christmas. It is the Christmas season.
All the hope and joy just coming in. All right, let's so this is the first time I get to see yours, and we got some similar picks again. I'm liking it. Is that who San Francisco is playing? Dang, why did I be? Oh, it's a division game. That's why. So we both went Buffalo. My theory behind that is, since they're division players, Buffalo's obviously in the hunt, and possibly and maybe could take over. I don't think New England's locked it down yet, but New England's been having some trouble with some tough teams. So I think if Buffalo can bring the heat, they could take over New England. What were your thoughts?
I was really surprised at the spread. Like the fact that it's even close to a touchdown. Like I figured it would be closer to a 3-point spread. Even in Foxborough, New England's offense really hasn't been doing all that awesome. Their defense is still what's keeping them alive. Um, Buffalo is looking real good in the hunt. I was reading something where with the Buffalo right now, based on like the current trend of like winning teams on the road, against winning teams on the road and something else or whatever, they're like 7-0 against the spread. So meaning that they beat the spread more often than basically they're undefeated to beat the spread. Uh, with the way that this shakes out as far as road game against a winning team that's coming off of a loss, like that kind of thing. I was reading some little analysis about it. I'm like, that's a pretty crazy statistic. And I really think that Buffalo has just been playing super solid. Outdoors doesn't matter. Buffalo is used to playing in the cold. And their quarterback has just been fire lately. Like he's just really stepped up to be able to take it down. The one crazy thing, like watching the Sunday night game, is that he's taller than every one of his receivers. Like his tallest receiver, I think, is 6'1", and he's 6'5". He has a lot of smaller, speedier receivers, that I think might give the New England secondary some fits, because they're just not used to. That's not a typical like setup for them to play against, right? So I'll take the points. on that one. That's really what I'm looking at. For that, San Francisco absolutely needs the win. They absolutely need this win to continue on because they're no longer locked up for the NFC West, and so they're potentially playing for a wild card spot instead, right?
Yeah, no, they need the win over the Rams, and they're at home. That's and being ahead by a touchdown isn't necessarily harsh for them. They have the weapons. They Rams haven't been on their 100% game, so I think they could definitely make it a good game.
And was Rams? No, wait. Rams were at home last week, or were they traveling last week? They played Dallas. I know that, but I think they played in Dallas, so they're doing back-to-back travel. Yeah, back-to-back travel games, coming off of a pretty bad loss, which that game should have been a lot closer. I'm really glad the Cowboys won, but that game should have been a heck of a lot closer than it was. Uh, I think that the Rams have a hangover from that. Still feel the Rams are spiraling a little bit, and they're probably going to miss the playoffs. To be honest, the defending NFC champions are going to potentially miss the playoffs. There's a real good chance of that.
Yeah, you are correct. They were traveling into Dallas, and that score was 44-21. So it was a pretty bad beatdown. So yeah, back-to-back traveling weeks, and especially when the two teams that you are playing against are top two. I think Dallas is number one in the division right now, and San
Tied.
Francisco's tied with the Eagles. And
Yeah, big game this week. Big game
they're
Sunday afternoon.
they're playing each other. Actually, and as you see, I picked Cowboys for that game because I don't know, Philly hasn't been doing that well at home, and doing well in general. But yeah, I think San Francisco can pull out a good win. Pittsburgh, this is the first time I think so this season that I've picked my team. Or it might be the second. I think it might be the second. But again, they're also in the hunt, going up against the Jets. The Jets they can play, they cannot play. You never know. I mean, they did well against Oakland, but then they, get their whatever handed to them against Cincinnati. So you never know. And I think this game might be a little personal too because I think Bell's playing. I think Bell was out either this last week or the week before, but he's playing now, and I think they'll make him miss being in Pittsburgh.
Okay. Let's see, Atlanta at home against Jacksonville. This is just more of a. There's no real significance in the game, but I think Atlanta needs the morale booster. I think Jacksonville's just done overall. I think mathematically Atlanta's still in the hunt. I don't know how. I mean, I think they're still on the list. And so mathematically, they're still there. I think a few things need to kind of fall in place in order for them to make it. But I think that gives them enough motivation to take the home win in this particular case. And Jacksonville really hasn't been blowing the doors off of anybody. Not
No.
really sure what's going on with that. Is Minshew starting again this week? Do you know?
I feel like I heard he was back. I did because I know you played last week, right?
He played last week, but is Foles still? Did Foles get re-injured? Is that what happened, or did they just bench Foles because he just wasn't performing?
It could be both.
A little both.
After coming off an injury like that, it's kind of hard for anyone to really come back and perform at 100%.
True. We'll see how he does next season. Ultimately, they're on to next season is really how that works out. No reason to really press it on that. So I think Atlanta has shown some sparks of greatness, and I think they're coming off of a high, beating San Francisco.
Which is really funny. It's just like after their bye week, they came out against the Saints and absolutely destroyed them. Like I didn't see that coming. But but they played the Saints again like 4 weeks later and then got crushed. So you just wonder what happened.
No say. I do like your moving on here. Your Chargers pick against Oakland. I do like that pick. I looked at that game. I decided to go a different direction with my overall with my picks, and it just didn't fit into what I was looking for.
I don't have Foles injured, by the way, so I don't know who's playing. Yeah, See, I was between this one and Atlanta because I was kind of with you on the Jacksonville not performing like they should be. So I think those were like between those two. Even though I think Atlanta probably may have been the better pick because Chargers I think are last in their division right now. So I can't imagine they're going to try to go all out. But then again, they're going against Oakland, and Oakland has to be no Oakland. Because they're in the same division. I think Oakland's second in their division.
Yeah, KC owns that division as far as leading.
Yeah,
Um, KC, Oakland, Denver, and then Chargers. That's the AFC West.
and yeah. So again, a division game. I think I'm hoping. At least I think I'm hoping Chargers just want to show that they're not the worst team in that division.
Yeah, no, I like that one. The Oakland defense tends to struggle against a high percentage passing team, which is exactly what the Chargers are. Their offense really hasn't been firing. I think the Chargers defense is probably good enough to hold things together. And that I do like that pick. I just went a different direction. It was on my radar as far as options to of games to potentially like kind of switch things around to, but stick there.
So what about this revenge game you got going on down here?
Which revenge game are you talking about?
Baltimore versus Cleveland. The last team to beat Baltimore was Cleveland this season.
Yep. So this is a division game. Baltimore is on just destroying everybody at this point, right?
Yeah,
I think they
they're. I'm kind of hoping for an upset against this one. It'll be really interesting to see Cleveland take a win.
I don't see it, especially with the loss to Arizona, coming off the loss to Arizona, coming home to a Baltimore team that needs to flex its overall dominance, and wants that piece of revenge. I can see Lamar Jackson want to really take it home with this division game and really just run up the score, show them that it was a complete fluke, right?
See, it could be that. I mean, the only reason I think I would really agree with you is because everything that I read about Cleveland is how their team is basically falling apart. Everyone is on every real player on Cleveland, that being OBJ, Landry, is basically just looking at their opposing team's sideline and going, "Come get me!" Like they're not a team right now. They're definitely not performing like a team.
No, the
But
only thing that's really keeping them competitive is their run game. The dual run game, with the dual backs and Chubb and Kareem Hunt,
yeah,
is particularly killer. But having been live at the game at Arizona, right, watching OBJ drop passes, just watching Landry stepped up for the most part when they really started working um, Landry in with more targets. He started to really pick up and perform, but nobody else was really, even when they tried to spread the ball around, nobody was really catching passes. The run is what kept them into it. Chubb broke quite a few longer runs. So did Kareem Hunt. There was a few screens that went for good chunks of yardage, but really, like I said, their running backs were the ones that kept things moving. Um, Overall, defense was decent, but nothing. I mean, they didn't look particularly dominant against Arizona, who doesn't have a crazy good offense either. They definitely have the components for a really good offense, uh, but I wouldn't say that they truly dominated on the defensive side of the ball. Having watched that, so
my only other concern with this game is that if Baltimore does run up the score on them again, and I mean they definitely have the ability to, is maybe third quarter, fourth quarter, do they take Lamar out and then kind of just put it in neutral and keep it a close game, making that 10-point difference basically worthless. It's already pretty bad, but
we'll see. I mean, even RG3 has the capacity to put some hurt on them. So I think that's where we're at. I think this isn't a need win. I think this is a want win, and to make a statement.
Yeah.
And then, well, you talked a little bit about Dallas at Philly. I didn't want to touch that game. Like, not even just being a Cowboys fan. Like, I just didn't want to touch the game because it's such a. I honestly like, even though Philly's been playing poorly, I kind of think it's a bit of a coin flip because the Eagles tend to play harder against the Cowboys when something is on the line, right? The game earlier in the year at Dallas where Philly got spanked at like 35-10 or something like that. Um, I don't remember the exact score. It was something in that range, like 28 or 35-10. Um, it didn't really necessarily mean anything. Like they could take that loss without any sort of real consequence on it.
Put now number one in the divisions on the line.
Yeah, playoff berth, number one in the NFC East, the worst division in football right now. If you look at everybody else's like league leaders, they all have like double digit wins, and then there's the Cowboys and Eagles at like 7-7, going into try vying for a playoff berth. So yeah, both of these teams need this win to make the playoffs. Neither of them are in the wild card hunt at all with a loss. Here it ends their postseason period. So those games are always.
I will give you that. NFC East is definitely the worst division so far, with the highest 7-7, but they're not the only ones that are not in double digits. The AFC South is Texans leading with 9-5.
Okay, so that's still close though. Like I mean, okay, so they're one win off. All right.
Yeah.
And then last pick, Detroit at Denver. Once again, really, I mean, not that Detroit's really that great right now.
They're not. They aren't.
Without Matthew Stafford and some issues with with the run game, the running back by committee, they really haven't been able to find an identity or find anyone in particular that they can lean on. This is really just a fatigue game that that I'm really playing off of, right? Denver's been on the road for 4 of their last 5 games, right? They just had like a rough beating in KC, right? In the snow, finally to come home. Yeah, they're coming home, but they're last in their division, right? It's to a non-division team with Christmas around the corner, right? So family in town for the holidays, a lot of off-field distractions and logistics and things going on. Having been mainly in hotels and running through practice and everything, being on the road, I'm just viewing this as just road fatigue, kind of hangover. Don't need a win. Don't really, you know what I mean? Would rather be at home with the fam. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. And Detroit comes in and takes a W. I'm not saying I'm in any sort of dominating fashion. I feel it'll be a relatively I don't think it's going to be a really exciting game, but I think Detroit takes the win, maybe by a field. If it takes by a field goal, that's still good points. If they win by a touchdown, even better. That's what I'm expecting. Some single digit kind of victory. I would love to have an even a high margin, but that's really where my head's at with this game.
Well, a lot can happen in the Mile High City, so we'll see what happens. We'll this week will determine who gets the advantage going into our final week, and then we're gonna have to have some real discussions about what we're doing after. I guess I'm gonna have to try to bring some of my equipment here to possibly do a recording the week on there, or I mean, if you can actually just share your computer.
We could try to do that. We'll have to work something out. It'd probably be better to have a couple.
I'll bring my. So that sounds good. All right.
Yeah. We have some options though. As far as if we just need you to be able to dial into to record or hook up to record, we have options. Let's just put it that way. We'll work it out. All right. So that wraps it up. You want to go ahead and take us out?
So thanks for listening to the Bald and Beardiful. You can email us at theballandbeautiful@gmail.com. Hit the like and subscribe button. Let us know that you're thinking about us. Leave a comment. You can find us on Facebook at The Bald and Beardiful. I share our videos there. I still need to post the picture, but I was going to save it until we talked about it on the YouTube channel. Everyone have a nice Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. You want to say anything else?
Dear Santa, I may not have been the best of boys this year,
That's for sure.
but if you could just please, please bring me some golly gee darn it points, I would greatly appreciate it. And I will forever, ever. No, I'm not. I mean, I'm still going to be a naughty boy. That'll never change.
You can have the points. I'll take some Bose headphones. The Series 700. I hear they're very good. Anyway, until next time, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Christmas Kwanzaa. Bye.